On this episode, we get some work done on Garfield the truck, including the start of the 14-bolt rear end swap and the 4-link kit from RideTech. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah.
All right.
Sweet.
Let's do something.
Hey, let's take this rear end out. So we've moved to rear suspension. We rolled the chassis back forward after I got that nasty old heater box out, and Aaron's back. We're freaking starting on rear suspension. This is gonna be really exciting. The first thing we're gonna do is cut out this old axle, which you guys remember we welded in these tubes that were super temporary just to keep the axle in place. And we've got a couple of rivets that are holding this top part of the pipe in, and then once I knock those out, I think I can cut them out with this grinder, the death wheel here. And then roll the axle out.
We bought a 14-bolt for the rear end. We thought we were going to use this, and when I was looking for the transmission, the dude just happened to have a rear end, and I thought might as well go with something more modern, where the parts are actually at the parts store whenever you go to buy stuff. So we're going to throw that in. I think it's better.
I'm
Possibly.
trying to focus. Jeez. Nice.
Sweet.
Cool, babe. Ooh, whoa. Time to roll this bad boy out. Coolant's leaking out of the engine because it's at an incline.
Always.
Cool, babe. These are really, really heavy-duty C-notches. We got them from CPP, and they are for a C20. We were originally online looking at the ones for a C10, and they were like $100. And then when we checked out, these were like 180. I was like, why are they more? But then we realized they were way more heavy-duty, and they're very heavy as well. Going to tack weld between the axle tube and the frame so that it gets our ride height all set up and we can get everything else mocked up.
The instructions said that we want 3.5 inches of travel when we're at ride height, and my C-notch gives me 2 inches, so I've cut a 1-inch block that I'm going to weld in here, and then, well, she's going to weld in here, and then we'll set our entire suspension up like that, and then we'll notch it. And so our overall travel at ride height is going to be 3 inches, and until it hits the bump stock.
Mm-hmm.
But we have air pressure, so we can just, when there's a heavier load, put more pressure in it, and we still have our 3 inches of travel. The axle center, it is measured between the center of the front hub and the center of the back hub. All that's
For our factory
kosher
measurements?
and good. Yeah, we wrote it down before we took it apart. And the pinion angle is exactly what we want it to be. So I'm gonna tack it in.
Get in.
Then after that we can put like cool parts on and stuff.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I can't wait.
It's installed. We can go drive now.
Yeah. do it. Happy Monday morning. We had so much fun with Eric and Leanna in here shooting with us. It was so nice not to have to move cameras and move lights and capture a moment that already happened. Like, it's so hard shooting yourself in the shop and having a couple of camera people that actually know cars and watch the moments that are unfolding. It's so nice.
Yeah, we could both work, so progress was a lot faster.
Yep.
A lot of times one of us is holding the camera and the other one's working, so it cuts our time. Well, it extends the time that it takes to do the job. So that was very nice.
That was awesome. But we're back to shooting ourselves now.
Yeah, we got that rear end cleaned up, all of it shaved and all the stuff off of it. It's mocked up in place, pinion angle's right. The height is where we're going to have it for cruising. So it's time to actually put some parts on it.
Yeah. We've already been tinkering with the 4-link on the floor over here. We think we have it put together the way that it installs, so we're going to carry it over to the chassis and see how it looks on the chassis with the bracket on the axle and see where we're going to start like mocking everything up to lay some tack welds and start figuring out how it installs.
That's it. We just got to get an idea of where things are going to lay. We've read the instructions. My knowledge is, I think I retained 10% of it. I keep looking over it.
I don't.
We just got to start putting parts on for it to make sense to me.
We know which components go together, but actually seeing it on the chassis is what's going to make the difference.
Yep.
So.
I'm seeing where it's all going to line up.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm going to get this front piece. This wider flange goes to the frame.
That's where we lay our welds.
I think that's going to go right there. And we're going to angle this down a little bit.
The back side of the bracket.
Yeah. Part of it because that's the way our frame is shaped. But the other part is I was talking to Josh from Vague Industries, and he said if you'll canter that down a little bit, you'll have more travel. You won't hit the bracket.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So per the instructions, it tells us to get the lower bar of the 4-link level with the frame or level with the car, but we assume because all we have is the frame, we'll level it with the frame. So we're going to get our frame level. Aaron's going to put some air in the front bag and get it level, and then we can level the lower bar, and then after that we can figure out where our bracket goes for the front of the 4-link system.
That's level. If we have basically these two arms at the top of the frame, down a little bit.
Which makes the most sense in my mind because you have the most clearance underneath.
So now let's make that straight back there.
Ooh, first bracket tacked into place.
Yep.
Woo.
Neat. Thank you. I took this apart and cleaned all that stuff up. And then I just spent a lot more time cleaning the frame. Maybe it was just not cleaned super well.
Okay.
Sweet.
You take it over.
And then hot.
Coming in hot. Oh, this looks so tough in there.
Yeah.
Aaron measured our length out for our lower bracket on the driver's side. Got it all tacked in. And now we are placing our rear bracket and make sure these guys are level. We have to adjust the length of the bars, but it's all very adjustable. So once we get them placed, then we'll adjust it and be sure that our rear brackets are level, because that's where the bags mount, and it's important for all the different components to be level and aligned with each other. It looks really, really good in here. Right chair.
Dude, my eyeballing might have been dead on. That's crazy. Yeah, they recommended we put this back bar in before we weld anything because it'll help line it all up and make it straight. And that bar's gonna have to be cut.
Yep.
But honestly, my opinion is like get it tacked in place and then just
hack it off. Yeah.
Cut it off after we get it in place.
Yep. It's time to tack our bars in place. I'm going to do one little stitch on the top and one little stitch on the top of the lower bar. Get them a little bit more sturdy. Cool. A little sturdier in there. We'll tighten those bolts down next probably to get that bracket kind of sturdier in there and figure out where that one needs to be welded in. It's looking really, really good. Okay, on this side we have some gap between the axle bracket and the actual housing tube itself, so we are going to adjust our bars, remove these knuckles, adjust them down on the threads so that we suck the bracket up against the axle.
Let's just turn both of them in half of the turn, and that should take this gap up. Push in on it.
It's not real easy to fix once my bolt is in.
Pop it back this way a little bit.
Got it.
Cool. We tried to get these bars as straight as we could in reference to the front bracket. So that's what we're doing now.
Yeah, this looks really good.
Okay.
So with everything tacked up, it's actually time to figure out where this Panhard bar is going. So Aaron just pulled the instructions up and we're gonna look it up and figure out where to mount this thing and then get that tacked in place.
Yeah, normally we go to the axle tube, but if we do that, when this airs down, it's gonna hit the top of the differential. So maybe we'll have to build a bracket to go on here, then over to the frame or something. I don't know. We have to look it up though. Figure it out.
The day is moving right along. We have been messing around with the Panhard bar for a while, and Aaron has devised a plan as to how we're gonna mount this thing. He brought in the use of CAD, cardboard aided design. Are you familiar? I'm sure you are. So he cut this out with the intent to put it over the axle tube, and then this will be the perch for where he'll bolt the bracket for the Panhard bar to sit, and then the other side will bolt straight to the frame. So it's a pretty good plan, and I'm excited to see that thing in place so that we can get the rest of the system all welded in for good. Aaron just got that welded up, and now it's time to bolt it to that end, up there, and then get it ready to bolt to the inside of the frame over there, and then we'll probably weld it up. Right?
I think on the inside of the frame, I'm gonna run bolts through.
Not weld it?
Yeah, just because it's a little bit difficult to get in there to clean, you know, to get all the metal cleaned up.
That's true. Bolts will be strong and easily removable.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Because this is the universal Panhard bar, you have to modify it, cut it to length for your application. So Aaron's got his awesome bracket here, which looks amazing. And he's getting it all measured down to where we need to cut the Panhard bar and reposition the knuckle because it's got to fit between our frame rails and bolt right there.
So our bar will be lined up.
Perfect.
I don't know if that's important, but might as well.
So we've got our bracket totally aligned from end to end. And now we get to cut the bar to the desired length. Bottom hole for the bracket getting drilled. Then we can put both bolts in and then cut that thing to length. Well, as work unfolded, we realized that we actually need to start the C-notch on the frame before we can fully install the Panhard bar. So we're gonna end this episode here, and on the next one, you'll see us install the C-notch and get that Panhard bar installed for good. Woo! Work on Garfield the truck is in full effect. We have a new editor, so you should be seeing more episodes out on this soon. If you follow on social media, you know that this truck is already cruising down the road and is awesome. So stay tuned for this build series because it's gonna be rad. Huge shout out to our Patreon supporters. If you would also love to join the Flying Sparks Garage Patreon family, the link is in the bio. As always, subscribe, comment, thumbs up, hit the bell so you get notifications because uploads are getting more frequent. We'll see y'all next time.